Good morning, everybody. You are listening to Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Siegel Network. Our show is sponsored by Abels and Hyman. We taste better. For those of you who don't know me and are tuning in just for the very first time, I'm Naomi Nachman, and I'm about all the food all the time. I love food. I love to shop for it, cook at restaurants, eat at restaurants, anything food related. I'm a kosher personal chef. My business is called the Aussie Gourmet, and anytime you don't feel like cooking, you give me a call. I cook for people Shabbos, for Yom Tov, for Pesach, just 80-something days away from now. Don't want to put you all in a panic, but let's be real. So tune in every week to our show, Table for Two, and hear us talk about food and meet our interesting guests and hear from other foodies. But we also want to hear about your experiences too. So share some stuff with me and then I'll share it right back. If you want to reach me, Naomi at nachumsiegel.com, and Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that social media stuff is us. So give me a call and we'll be in touch and hear about your experiences too. So if you eat it, share it. Okay, great show. We've got a giveaway. We'll talk about that later on the show. So stick around. We've got a cookbook author. We've got Beth Warren, who's going to be doing the cookbook giveaway. I've got Simon Aubacher from Ram Caterers. We're going to be talking to him about Pesach. And, of course, right on the line now, I've got Joel Haber. He's also known as Fun Joel Haber. Hello, Fun Joel.
How's it going, Naomi?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Thank you for joining me, Erev Shabbos. I really appreciate it.
It is my pleasure. Anything for Naomi Nachman.
Oh, thank you. So, Joel, it's really busy there for you in Israel right now. All the tourists are in.
Absolutely. I'm a tour guide, and this time of year, like starting from Hanukkah already through at least the end of January is a really good time for us. Lots of tourists coming in, and a lot better than what we had this past summer, as I'm sure you can see.
Yeah. My kids actually were in Israel and Michlelet. They had a bit of a hard time, but they said it was one of the best summers they've had in their lives, in spite of everything. So now everyone's come in. You know, it's a little bit quiet in Israel right now. Politically, I guess. It's probably never quiet in Israel.
Yeah,
politically.
Thank God. Yeah, exactly. You never know what's going to happen, but we take it, one day or 1 week at a time, and thank God everything's going good.
Baruch Hashem. It should continue to stay safe and keep everyone safe, and Hashem should just continue, keeping our people safe there. So people want to people want to come to Israel, and a friend of mine reached out to me and said to me, I need to go on a foodie tour of Israel. And I put it up on Facebook, and every single person said, Fun Joel Haber. And I'm like, I know that name. And it all came together. So Joel and I knew each other a long, long time ago. We won't say how long. And we have reconnected through the foodie world. I'm sending my friends on one of your tours, I believe.
Yeah, looking forward to having them.
And
I do all sorts of food tours. Not only food tours, of course, but being both a tour guide and a foodie means that do food tours is one of my favorite things to do.
Okay, so that's a little bit of background about you. Everyone knows I always like to get the research at the beginning done, find out, because I'm so inquisitive. When did you make Aliyah?
Mm-hmm. When or why?
When? We all know why one makes Aliyah. In general, overall.
I made Aliyah in March of 2009, so coming up on 50 years in March.
When, I'm sorry? What?
March of 2009.
Okay.
So almost 6 years.
Okay, very nice. And you were living in New York?
Not most recently. So I grew up in New Jersey, in Livingston.
Okay.
And I lived in New York for many, many good years. But I also then moved to L.A. for 5 years, and I made Aliyah from Los Angeles.
Oh, very nice. So, LA is a big foodie place too. So when did you become a tour guide?
So after I made Aliyah, I started the tour guide course, because in order to become a licensed guide here, you need to take a 2-year course.
2 years? Wow.
2 years, yeah, because you need to see the whole country, learn about every site, and then you have classes on everything you could possibly imagine, all of the history, religions, politics, geography, geology, botany, zoology, first aid, etc.
Wow.
So I started that around December of 2009, and I've had my license since February 2012.
Well, so you haven't even been doing that long. You have an incredible reputation.
Yeah, well, thank God I work a lot and people like what I do. And, look, I've been here only not even 6 years. I couldn't be doing it that long, right?
Right.
But I've been doing it for, coming up on 3 years officially. I did it, don't tell anybody, okay, but I did it unofficially while I was in the course as well.
Oh, okay. That'll be our little secret on the Nachum Siegel Network, listeners. Okay, so
exactly.
And how does one find you? We're going to keep talking, but how does one find you? It's the website is up on the screen, I believe, right, ZK? It says FJIsrael.com, so people can find you.
FJIsrael.com. FJ Israel, yeah, so that's like FJ for Fun Joel, so www.fjisrael.com. They can email me at joel@fjisrael.com. I'm also on Facebook. If you search Fun Joel's Israel, you'll find me. Easily findable.
Excellent. Now, talk to me.
And odds are, if someone finds me, I probably have a friend or two in common with them.
It's so true, right? So crazy. Such a small world. Talk to me about what's the most popular course or tour that you do in Israel.
So I end up, not by design, but just by the way things work out, I do a ton of tours in Jerusalem itself.
Lovely.
And I live in Jerusalem, which makes it very nice and convenient.
Excellent.
And I know Jerusalem very well because it's my home.
Right.
I do a ton in the old city of Jerusalem. The Shuk is also a very popular tour in Machane Yehuda, Shuk that I'm referring to as opposed to the Arab Shuk.
Right,
Machane Yehuda is like my second home.
Right, we'll come back to Machane Yehuda in a minute. But yeah, what else?
Yeah, and then beyond that, I mean, the next most common would be a day trip out of Jerusalem, like to the Dead Sea or to the area called Shelah, which is like south of Beit Shemesh, and then the rest of Israel beyond that. But those are the most common, I'd say.
Okay, cool. Very nice. So let's if you're planning, you've got winter break coming up pretty soon, week away. If you want to plan a tour, you've got a day open, give Joel a call or send him an email, because I think it's really important to plan your days wisely, because your time in Israel is so precious, and you want to do stuff. It's not like back in my day when I went with my parents. I think it was like you woke up in the morning and said, what should we do today? And then you'd come up with something to do, and by 11 o'clock you got moving. Now it's very popular to use a tour guide.
I'm sorry, it's very what?
Popular.
Yeah, and I must say, no, I understand. I speak both English and Australian.
I know.
No, but I say that, sometimes people think, I've been to Israel a million times. What do I need a tour guide for? And the truth is that I've taken people on tours, forget tours to places they've never been. I've taken people to the old city, places that they've been a million times, and they still say to me, you know what? I learned new stuff today, and I saw new things today. So
wow.
Wherever it is, and I don't just mean me, obviously I would love you to use me, but any good professional tour guide here can teach you new things and show you new things and, that you've never seen before, no matter how many times you've been here.
Absolutely. That's, I was in Israel a couple of years ago, about 2 years ago, visiting my daughter when she was in seminary at MMY, and with your brother. Mm-hmm. He was at the time, very involved at MMY, Rabbi Alan Haber, who was amazing. And he actually took us on a tour, me and my family and another family, and we went on a tour of the Gush area, which was incredible. And we ended up on some random goat cheese farm and had the most amazing lunch in the the beautiful. Overlooking wherever we were in the Gush area was incredible. But
I'm guessing it was at Stay Bar.
Oh my God. And I love cheese. So it was like, especially goat cheese. So it was like, but there was all different kinds of cheeses and salads, and it was fabulous. Right, ZK, we love cheese. He's laughing at me.
Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. We're just saying how much we love cheese.
Since you mentioned my brother, I should tell people, I'll give him a shout out as well. He is currently in the tour guide course. So in another year or two, you could also hire him as well.
Oh, that's so nice. Two brothers in the same business. That's so cute. But he was amazing, and I look forward to taking a tour with you. Now I want to talk about this Shuk tour. I'm dying to take a Shuk tour. What is a Shuk tour? I have taken one before with a guy called Chef Polly, and it was great.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I took one with Chef Polly. For those who are where I have Joel on the line, so sometimes the line is a little bit crackly, so we're just trying to work through that. ZK's amazing. It's hard to hear a little bit.
No problem. It's probably on my end.
Okay, yeah, probably on your end. Okay, so I took one with Chef Polly, but it was a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So it was really interesting. But what's your tour like? What's involved?
Okay, so for me, as I said before, the shuk is like my second home. I'm there at least once, maybe multiple times a week, and I love the shuk. And again, when I'm saying the shuk, in this case, I'm referring to Machane Yehuda, the main outdoor market of Yerushalayim. And when I give a tour there, like I've gotten to know the shuk very, very well. For those who get a chance to go to my website and check out my blog, I've written, I think at this point, about 7-part blog posts on all you want to know about Machane Yehuda, which includes history and what's there. And most popularly, the one that a lot of people got to see was I did a map of the entire shuk, every single store in the shuk, so that people can find their way around.
Because it's impossible. It's so hard to find your way around the shuk.
Right, so literally every single basta, a basta is the local word for a stand, every single basta in the shuk, I made a map of it, and I made it in such a way that I can easily keep it updated, because other people have done maps, but they get out of date, so
Oh, interesting.
Way.
What's your favorite restaurant in the shuk?
My favorite restaurant in the shuk probably would have to be what's called Manu Bashuk.
Okay.
It's in the covered shuk itself. It's Chaim Street, and it's a Lebanese place. The owner is a Lebanese Jewish man who basically cooks his mom's recipes. His wife, Sophie, is from Paris, and she runs the place with him. They have delicious food and certain things that you can't get in other places. Like they have amazing lachma bajin, which is like a meat pizza.
Oh, yum.
Which I love.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. They make a special kind of kuba. Like basically, you know what kuba is, correct?
Correct. You want to explain to our listeners?
Okay.
You'll do it better justice than I will.
So kuba basically is, or kibbeh as some call it, it's basically meat on the inside surrounded by bulgur wheat. The most common kinds are either deep fried, which I happen to love, and really crispy.
Who doesn't like deep fried food?
Yeah, or in a soup, which is, a different kind, it's a little bit mushier. But actually, when it comes from the area in Syria, they have 40 different kinds of kibbeh or kuba in Syria. And so another kind of kuba that they have at Manu Bashuk is called kuba siniya, which means like on a platter or a tray, and it's basically a baked kuba. It's a flat thing. It's really delicious. So they're amongst my favorites. And so when I give a tour in the shuk, basically I give some of the framing, I give some of the history of the shuk, and talk about how the shuk came about and how it's developed over the year. And then we go around and we do tastings of many different foods from many different cuisines. Because to me, when we speak about Jerusalem cuisine or Israeli cuisine, and people say, "Is there such a thing?" To me, one of the cornerstones of it is the melting pot of our cuisine, the mixing of different cultures, foods side by side. And when you're in the shuk, you can literally taste food from at least 10 different places. 10 different cuisines. And so that's what we do in a tasting tour in the shuk.
Wow. What do they call that in cooking when you blend fusion, right? Fusion cooking.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say most of the places are doing fusion, although I will tell you one little tidbit that I think relates to fusion cooking. I'm sure you're familiar with kugel Yerushalmi, right?
Yes, I do. Familiar.
Okay, so for those who don't know Yerushalmi kugel, I'm sure not everybody does. Yerushalmi kugel is a specific type of kugel that is obviously from Yerushalayim, from Jerusalem originally. It's a noodle-based kugel, and the flavors in it is they have some sugar in there, and they have some pepper in there, and it's a different type of a flavor than other kugels.
Correct.
And I always say that I believe that the reason that that's the kugel that came out of Yerushalayim is that kugel itself is one of the most Ashkenazi foods that I can possibly think of. But the flavorings that they put into that kugel are Sephardi-type flavorings. And it was only here in Yerushalayim that those flavors blend, so that you would have an Ashkenazi and a Sephardi married to each other. And so they took a kugel, an Ashkenazi noodle kugel, and they stuck Sephardi taste into it. That's Yerushalayim.
Aha. Ashkafad. Ashkenazi and Sephardi. Yum. I love it. I love when all things come together flavor-wise. And I think that's exactly what that is. Joel, this is great. Yeah. I want to come and take one of your tours. I'm going to hopefully be in Israel in the next year. My daughter's going to seminary, hopefully, next year. So we'll definitely be in touch, and people want to reach out to you. Just one question that everybody, my favorite restaurant in the Shuk is Pasta Basta. Love it. Love fresh handmade pasta, delicious. And it's really like for an amazing pasta meal. It's for whole family. I took my whole family there for a pasta meal and a beer, and it was like $50 for 6 people. Like you cannot get that quality of food in New York for $50. It was amazing, and also I love that cheese store in the Shuk. Amazing.
Which one? There's so many.
I know. There you go. I've no idea. Wherever they took me to, I just went crazy over that cheese store. So you're going to have to take me there
Fair enough.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. I should just say one more thing. That
Sure.
Of course, I love giving shuk tours. I give tours all over Israel, and including food tours. You don't have to only come to the shuk for culinary tours. There's good food stuff all over Israel.
Oh, we're going to do that.
I'd be happy to show you guys anything.
We are coming, and we are traveling Israel on a culinary tour with Fun Joel. Fun Joel Haber, thank you so much. All right. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. I know it's getting really close. Okay. Shabbat Shalom, and we'll be in touch.
Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, that was Joel Haber, tour guide in Israel and a big foodie. So I'm glad I reconnected with him, and we got to share a little bit of what is going on in Israel, because I think the advent of the whole food industry is just being raised. And we spoke about last week on CK, we had the CKCA hour. We spoke about how we're becoming such big foodies now. So it's nice to, take a tour of Israel through food. So speaking about foodies and tours and exciting food things going on, I have with me from the unbelievable, illustrious Ram Caterers, Simon Aubacher from, executive director.
It's Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades there. So I got contacted by this amazing organization to come down. This is the first time I'm announcing it on the air on Table for Two that I'm going to be joining their Pesach program. I wanted to have one of the guys down here. The logos are up all on my website now, and on the Table for Two website has now, I don't even know if you know this, we put the logo on our Nachum Siegel website as well. So
great to hear that.
Yeah, so we're really I'm just so happy to be part of your team. I'm going to be doing cooking classes, and I throughout Pesach. And I said to Simon, you got to come on the show, and we got to talk about Ram Caterers.
Positively. That's why we're here.
Okay, great.
I'm very excited to be here, obviously.
Thank you. Right here on the Lower East Side.
Sure. I'm making it to the big time.
You're making it to the big time. This is where it all started, the Lower East Side.
Correct.
Okay, so welcome. Okay, so talk to me about what's going on this year.
I have so many segues that you got me into the conversation about you handling all the Passover cooking this year. So I may take you up on that offer.
I'm going to be the chef there too.
Possibly.
No.
Not
You've
yet.
got much more exciting things going on. Well, number one, let's just give a quick shout out to Ari White.
Positively. Very excited. Ari White is joining us. It's Wandering Q or Gotcholent.com.
Formerly Hakadosh Barbecue.
Hakadosh Barbecue. Very excited to have him on board this year. He's going to be running our, call it a cookout, our barbecue, our smokeout, the Pitmaster. We have a lot of ideas that we're working on right now, and should be phenomenal.
I'm so glad that worked out.
Great addition, positively.
I'm really excited to have him there. As well as eating, even though I'm going to be doing classes, let's just, of course, being a food show, let's just talk about the food that's going to be there on Pesach, because you have raised the bar way, way above everyone else. And I'm not just saying because I'm coming there. Everybody knows Ram Caterers, right? Like our guest Beth Warren is here. She has a cookbook. I'm just going to hold up her cookbook, but she's going to be up next. And she was like, Ram Caterers, like everybody knows Ram.
Yeah, I think that we're guilty of constantly going out and trying to raise the bar year after year. Part of the added touch this year, actually, we're joining forces this year with VIP Passover, which is also Danziger Kosher Caterers, and we're going to do a conjunctional Passover tour together. So it's Ram Caterers is here with Danziger Kosher Caterers of Stu Morgenstern fame, and we're doing it together. So we've got ideas running galore. How do I start?
Okay, start with food at the top. Charcuterie. We spoke about that last week.
Yes.
Who does kosher charcuterie for Pesach? Only you guys.
Yeah, the funny thing is that charcuterie is making a comeback right now, I think.
It's unreal.
In the industry. And the funny thing is that you mentioned Abels and Hyman as one of your sponsors.
Yes.
I actually worked there in my teens for a year way back on 3rd Avenue in the Bronx.
Oh my gosh! Before Seth moved it out to
Before Seth took over the operation.
that was New Jersey.
That was back with Lee Hyman days. But yes, charcuterie is making a major comeback. Matter of fact, Ari
it's
also
dried meats. It's dried meats.
It's dried
Pure
meats,
dried meats.
Dried meats, smoked meats. It's a variety of all types of typically German delicacies that we're going to bring back as well for Passover. Ari is also going to help us as well, putting together a full line of items that I think people will be able to enjoy and try for the first time, most likely on a Passover program.
Yeah, nobody's eaten this stuff.
I don't think so. But, but we'll certainly find out.
I mean, you have an ice pop bar, a cappuccino bar, a sushi bar.
Yeah, I often term Passover, it's like a cruise that never leaves port. And Passover is like a marathon, I guess, both for the guests and also for the operators ourselves. And the idea is not to blow your load all on the same day, and that people are constantly walking into the program guessing and wondering what's coming up next. So I don't want to divulge all the details. Obviously, I think we've given the
a little hint.
Exactly, some bullet points that are out there. We're doing a pop bar, which is basically all types of sorbets and ice creams on sticks instead of doing the conventional gallon drums of ice creams and the ices that are made throughout the industry. We're trying to go out and make more customized things like that. We're making our own gelato. We're doing cappuccino throughout the entire day. We're featuring a sushi bar, I think, from noon till about 8 p.m. at night. Food basically is being served with us from 6 a.m. in the morning until about 1 a.m., I guess the next morning.
His case mouth.
Correct.
His jaw is dropping. I wish I could have taken a picture of your face.
It's definitely a marathon, like I mentioned.
I'm starving.
It's positively a marathon. I think people have to pace themselves, and I think the average Passover guest goes into Passover running very quickly. And they're all excited and they're nervous and all the hoopla that comes aboard. And I think people realize that with going to a program that we're actually part of, the food doesn't run out. And I think years ago there was this notion that take all the food today and bring it up to your room and savor it for tomorrow because tomorrow may not be here on the food side. And I think people realize with us, we give it the full hand. Everything is properly done. It's customized. We have food for the 1-year-old child, if you would, and we have food for the family members that are in their 80s and 90s as well that take down families for the programs. We're very conscious about all of the allergies that are out there today.
I know, it's unbelievable how many people have food allergies.
Positively. Nut allergies, obviously. Gluten issues, obviously, are always an issue on Passover. We try to offer, although we laugh about it behind the scenes to a degree, a spa menu.
Yes, I saw that, a spa menu. I think that's so great. Like the healthy option. I have one daughter who's like extremely healthy. I told her not for this Pesach.
Right. So it's always available for guests that want something a little bit lighter fanfare.
Like what's on the spa menu?
A spa menu is basically
what does that mean?
So let's talk about lunch for an example. You'd have like a regular poached fish or a grilled fish that we're going to make to order on a station. Very little seasoning, and toppings that are available are like things of lemons, limes, and your regular salt and pepper, spices. Your salads will be all salads that won't contain dressing. If there be dressings available, there'll be things like a olive oil and vinegar, or a lemon juice type of base dressing or something like that.
Not a heavy sugary.
Exactly right. It could be a baked potato. It could be cauliflower and broccoli. Maybe I'm segueing into the next session here as well. Right. And again, I find that most guests, even when they're looking for the spa menu on a Passover program, they're going to partake in other things as well. But because there is so much food available to people in all of the areas of the property that we're dealing with, from coffee stations available by the villas that they're staying in. There's a full breakfast menu that's available from 6 a.m. in the morning for those that want to get up early, daven early, play golf in the morning if you would. I think people, have the option and the variety available to you from morning till night. And the spa menu gives those that are complaining about overeating that at least we offer them an option.
Or the belt's getting a little too tight by day one of Chalamoid. The wife puts them on the spa menu for 2 days so they can at least maybe eat.
Positively.
Okay, let's talk about the grounds. What?
Well, Trump took over this property, I believe, 2 years ago. They pumped in $250 million into the property as of today. Everything from the property is almost brand new and redone. From the rooms to the eating locations, the grounds are phenomenal. There are 5 golf courses actually on property. I believe 3 or 4 are going to be functional for Passover. Beautiful pool areas, barbecue, smoke out areas, if you would. The views are great. It's really a beautiful property. It's self-contained. It's large enough to handle a nice-sized crowd, and not that large where you're going to lose people along the way and being in different cities at the same time.
Right. I know. I spoke to Jeremy Goldfeder. We were talking, and we were talking about people are down there for winter break. You can go walk around the grounds, go take a peek.
Positively, as a matter of fact, positively. In fact, our partner Stu Morgenstern is actually right now operating out of Florida. Anyone that has a desire to go down and see the property and go through a personalized tour for the program, give us a phone call. I'll plug my number, I guess, while I can.
Yes, absolutely.
It's 516-997-4000 is our main number. Our Passover line is 516. I think it's...
quickly look it up.
Quickly, I think it's 313-4000. I think I just made a mistake, so I'll come back to that in a second.
Yeah.
But they can certainly give a phone call to us, and we're happy to show them and give them a guided tour of the property and show them the rooms, the renovations, and trying to give them a glimpse into the window of Passover.
We have a little bit of a special for our listeners, right? We were talking about...
Yes, well, we offered actually a special that was a Hanukkah special. It was, I believe, free airfare from New York for a 10-night minimum stay with us at the program. We've extended that right now up until, actually, I believe, today. If any of the listeners of this program would call up, post that, and mention this program, we'll extend that courtesy to them as well.
Okay, so Table for Two listeners, you want to join me for Pesach, cooking away, cooking classes up to wazoo, all this amazing food. And let's talk about the activities of and the spiritual guidance that's going to be there. And
Certainly. By the way, obviously I did make a mistake on the phone number.
Okay.
Shockingly. No. It's 516-331... I'm sorry, 331-4000.
331-4000.
Everybody catch that number.
Okay, great.
Yes, on the spiritual side, we have a tremendous lineup that we're coming down with. We have Rabbi Ari Lamb, who's the grandson of the famed Norman Lamb.
Okay.
We have Dr. Erica Brown, who is an author and educator and scholar in residence at the Jewish Federation of Greater Washington. Steve Stavitsky, formerly of the Orthodox Union, is coming to join us for the program. We've got a tremendous lineup of entertainment shows. We're actually doing a couple of things that we're working on right now that are going to be very innovative and different, never been done before on Passover. I don't want to even give away a glimpse of it today.
He's not even telling me, but I know from my end we're going to do a chopped episode.
We're definitely doing a chopped episode. I guess we haven't vetted out.
So if you think you can cook, you come to this Pesach program. We'll put you up on the stage.
Positively. We're not certain if it's going to be a barbecue session or it's going to be a regular, maybe Passover-esque type of chop session, but we're definitely working on something like that as well. I could tell you that we have activities for kids, youths, and infants that basically start at 3 months old with babysitting services for the entire day. There's a kid zone that we're doing from ages 3 to 12. We have a teen zone that's being run throughout the day and the evenings as well. As far as sporting activities over there, from basketball clinics that were coming down with professional.
Can my husband come to the basketball clinic?
Positively.
He can hang out with the teens. He loved, when I told him that, he's like, I so want to go to that.
Positively. He can join. He can bring a whistle. He can bring a basketball. We're happy to certainly, have him join our...
whip him into shape during Pesach.
Positively. Something else also that we just actually came upon recently, where we've had a lot of requests for guests wanting to go to the beach during Chol HaMoed. So actually we're offering shuttles back and forth to the Shelbourne Hotel in South Beach. And actually when guests get there, there'll be a full barbecue food service also for them as well, waiting for them.
I'm going to cry.
Again, Naomi, I don't want guests to, God forbid, be a couple hours without something to eat and to snack on.
You can't have that. I grew up in the Pesach industry because my dad ran the Sydney Pesach Hotel. There was only one for 28 years. So, and I when I first met you, I said my dad ran a Pesach program that had a tea room when a tea room was just a tea room.
Yes.
There was tea and coffee and cake all the time, but there was tea, coffee and cake, and now a tea room is on another level.
Yeah, I guess if I serve tea and cake at my tea room, you'd probably find me hanging from a tree somewhere on the property.
You'll be shot.
Yes, positively.
But my dad said, after 8 days of eating on the last meal, they bring all the food out and they, and then people would go at it like they'd never eaten before. Like, you just ate for 8 days. We love our food. We love to eat.
I think sometimes, the people want to see something. It's not so much about the consumption. It's about the mindset.
We eat with our
mentality.
eyes.
Exactly right. And I think if you keep your food, changing and fresh and innovative, then people don't have to put it on their plate to see that the food is out there and nicely presented. And I think that's part of the part of the allure of going to a qualified Passover program is it's not the same thing every single day. You're not bored by what we're doing. Some foods obviously are staples. People want to have some foods every day at the same time. Usually breakfast, the cold foods tend to be the same most of the days. So guests know where to find the jams, the butters, the cream cheeses. They're not always searching out to find the chametz, if you would, with the spoon and the feather like that with the candle. but at the same time, I think that people want to be wowed, and unfortunately for us, or fortunately for us, I think we've set our bar very high that people come to expect something different from us, and we have to deliver.
And you do, and your creative minds. I don't know where you guys dream this stuff up, but it's really unbelievable. I've been a big fan of Ram since I met Jeremy 10 or so years ago, and then following along all the stuff that you've been doing. So I'm very excited to be part of this now.
As always, sure.
And you can, please join their Facebook and their Instagram. I don't know if you're on Twitter, but you're for sure on Facebook and Instagram, Ram VIP Passover. And you can, through my AussieGourmet.com, you can click on the links and find them also. Very important question. When people come down, when do you start? When can people start flying down?
Well, Passover this year comes out is Erev Shabbos.
Yeah.
The program is officially starting Thursday afternoon.
Very nice.
Is the arrival.
Can I just say that's such a nice thing, because the prices are a bit expensive, like to land on Friday morning. So it's good you're giving them that opportunity to save a little bit.
I think also guests sometimes they want that day to come in and get the lay of the land. I think there's a psychological...
Right. See where I'm going to eat first.
Exactly. Eat first and get the best room and the freshest pillowcase and things like that.
Yeah.
So there's certainly it's a Jewish mentality, but we're well aware of that.
And checkout is when?
Checkout actually is going to be either Motzei Shabbos or Sunday. If guests want to stay for another week, please let us know. I'm certain we can accommodate you as well.
They'll make you little doggy bags of Pesach food.
Yes. But the yacht does sail out of port, though, on Sunday officially.
That's very cute. I was going to ask you something. Oh, my gosh, I lost that whole train of thought. Okay, doesn't matter.
Mind you, also, for a shout-out, we're also doing this year again, we're pleased to be doing again the Lasco family program at the Fountain Blue as well. We've been there for many, many years. It's actually a fabulous program, and we're always proud to be there. And it's also a phenomenal food program, quality-wise, detail-wise. It's also going to be a phenomenal smash this year.
And that's right on Collins Avenue,
yes.
Right down there.
It's still back in the days of Sammy Davis Jr.
I love it.
Sinatra,
I love it.
It's still there.
I love it. I love Collins. And the 41st Street area is fabulous. And the Doral is in Miami. I don't even know.
It's Miami. It's like 15 minutes west of the airport. So you're about a 30-minute drive or so from Miami Beach.
And you don't even need to rent a car because, everything's there on site. And you're busing people everywhere. And
I'd imagine after all the matzah and all the pizzas that we're serving, people want to walk off there,
matzah and pizza.
Food consumption.
You never thought that they would go together unless you're making matzah pizza. But this is really wood burning oven.
Yeah,
pizzas.
we're right now in the process of procuring a wood burning pizza oven. There'll be pizza actually available from lunch till about I think 6:30 at night all day long with really cool exotic pizzas. It's not the old our old recipe from years ago when we were kids where it's matzah with tomato sauce and cheese on top. It's a real dough-based item.
Go look at the website. The picture's up on the website. It's not normal. It's not normal. It's amazing. It's really fantastic. I think people should take opportunity now to use the offer that they've got for our Table for Two listeners of the tickets, and they'll be happy to help you out with that as soon as possible. It's a fabulous program. It's a step above, and YU Connects is going to be there.
Yes, I'm sorry that. Thank you for reminding me.
We need to just give that.
Yes, definitely a big shout out. I think we felt that there's a lag today in the modern Jewish communities. There are a lot of unfortunately single girls and guys, if you would, in their late teens to mid-30s, if you would. So we're trying to put together a program this year that we've got someone who is directly involved in that. It's Mindy Eisman from YU Connects. I have my own little way of shouting it out. It's Huskehert, Meet Your Beshert at the Doral this year. Kind of a little family thing that we have going on.
That's very funny.
I think actually be a really, really nice idea to hopefully get some shidduchim out of it, if at all possible, for the modern community. And we're going to be doing actually Sunday night, which is right after Yom Tov is over.
Cholamoid.
Right. Actually, people that are actually not part of the program are also are going to be able to come down to the facility as well if they're single and they meet that kind of criteria through Mindy to come down for that night. And right now we're planning to do a mixer of some sort. to try to get a nice crowd of people to
that's so
hopefully
nice.
meet and greet at the program as well.
Can I just say that's a really nice community?
Yeah.
I don't want to call it community service because it sounds a bit nebby, but it's a really nice thing and open-minded to do that because it really is, a bit of an issue.
Well,
so.
again, I obviously we have vested interest. We are caterers, so if someone does get engaged, hopefully they'll
You'll use them for the wedding.
Make the right phone
That's
call.
That's really fun. It's like if a dentist giving out candy, they'll know they'll for sure get business. I like that. Oh, I love how they think. Simon, thank you so much
Our
for
pleasure.
joining
Thanks
me.
for having us on, and really a pleasure to be here, and
Yeah.
a pleasure to be having you guys on with us as well.
Thank you. We're really looking forward to working
Great.
together. I'm just going to get you guys to switch seats. You are welcome
Sure.
to stay for the second half of the show, or you can, I know it's Erev Shabbos and you got to cook probably any simchas this weekend, I'm sure.
I'm sure there's at least one or two.
Right? So you're welcome to just hang out or we'll be in touch.
Thank you again. Okay, looking forward.
Okay, thank
Thanks
you.
so much.
Have a good Shabbos. This is Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Siegel Network. Our show is sponsored by Abels and Hyman, and we are also heard on Arut Sheva English Radio. Whoops. Okay, that's not a problem. I'm just going to do a little bit of a background. Beth is switching seats with Simon, doing a little switcheroony round here on Table for Two. Really fun times. I'm really excited to be part of the program because everybody knows I love to travel and I love to eat. So what better place to be for Pesach? Thank you. Is to be going with Ram. So I'm really excited, and I was tickled pink when they asked me. So now it's the official launch, even though I've posted here and there. But follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook to see more pictures and more exciting news from Ram, and as well as their Facebook page and Instagram as well. I got contacted by my friend Trina Kay about a month or so ago, and she says, "Have I got a guest for you?" She's a publicist. And she's hooked me up with Leah Shapira before and Paula Shoya. She says, "Naomi, I've got someone who's fantastic, who's got an incredible cookbook. I'm going to send you a book out. And I'm also going to send you a digital book for you to look over in case it doesn't come on time because, the busy season, the post office is a little bit slow." So we connected up and Trina put us together, and I'm really happy to have Beth Warren here in the studio. I'm just going to hold up her book, and I'm not sure if I mentioned earlier, our show is also broadcast on the airwaves at Nachum Siegel Network on our nachumsiegel.com, but also on a YouTube channel called Nachum Siegel Network, and just you can watch us as well. So those who are watching, I am just holding up the book. I'm going to eat this book because I love these pictures, and I know I always say that, but I really feel like living a real life with real food, how to get healthy, lose weight, and stay energized the kosher way. And I think this is finally a book. I don't like to say diet books because I don't like the word diet. It kind of like gives you a short-term focus on losing weight and then you gain it all back. I like to think about changing a lifestyle. And I think this book is all about that. It's philosophy and it's also recipes. So I'm really happy to have you. Did I get all that right?
Yes, exactly.
I had to
you really hit the nail on the head. It's been so easy.
All right, and I got this because I got the hard copy now, but I had to do this on the computer, scrolling down page by page, and I like to literally turn a page. Like I love to read a cookbook on Shabbos. During the week, I can read a little bit of a recipe or two off the internet, but it's hard to read a book. I don't know how people do the Kindle things.
I know, me either.
I like
There's still something to printing something out and having the pages
right.
in your
The
hands.
book industry will never die for me. So this is a beautiful, beautiful book. I have a copy now in my. This
Yep.
one is for me. I can
Yes,
keep this one. Okay,
absolutely.
excellent. And we have a giveaway for
Yes.
one of our listeners. Trina's going to organize with a publisher. If you want to get a hold of Beth's book, just email me at naomi@nachumsiegel.com and write Beth Warren's book in the memo and give me your name and your address, and then we will send that out to you. If you are the lucky winner, we'll have a drawing in about a month. So
Oh, fantastic. That's exciting.
yeah, thank you so much for coming in. I know Friday's a hard day for you to come in, and it's
That's okay. I'm not so far.
okay. Yeah, Brooklyn's not too far. I know, but it's always near of Shabbos.
Yes.
So okay, great. So let's talk about what's your background. That's my favorite question, right? ZK, I say, what's your background?
In life, I actually start off in the book explaining a little bit about my life because I guess as it relates to food, one thing was that I've always loved food. People think as a registered dietitian, which is what I am.
Okay, so you're a registered dietitian.
Yes, I'm actually in private practice in Brooklyn, and we're just opening our second location in New York.
Who's
City.
we?
My office and I. I have other
Okay.
dietitians that work for me.
Okay.
And we work with pediatric and adults, and my background includes my heritage of Sephardic and Ashkenazic ancestry. So
you're a blend.
Yes.
We were talking about that with Fun Joel, like the blends.
The blend. And
You're a
also,
Shalmi cooker.
yeah, so I knew exactly all the foods he was talking about.
Right.
Also, my husband's mother is Moroccan, so we have a couple of different
Moroccan food.
Oh, yes.
Love it.
Yes. So I call my culinary background pretty eclectic. And I just, in my private practice, I deal mostly with the Jewish community. And it's always difficult to try to figure out a way to enjoy your foods, your cultural foods, in a healthier way. And I always, because I love food, everyone thinks as a dietitian you don't love food. All of a sudden you want to take away foods. But the reality is that we just have to find a healthier way to enjoy them. So the meal plans and recipes in the back of my book actually show you how you could incorporate, let's say, matzo ball chicken soup into a normal meal plan, or more of my Sephardic Spanish jibbin, we call it, with spinach and cheese, how to put that into a complete meal. And I also just amended them a little bit to show that we could make healthier twists. I know I don't want you to cringe, but there is such a thing as whole wheat matzah meal. You know, we could use that.
Right.
for
Oh,
matzo balls.
absolutely. You know, before we were talking about all the amazing
Yeah.
food you can eat on pace and all that, but
Right.
and people see on Facebook I'm like eating like beer battered fish and stuff, but I'm really, really health conscious.
Right.
Like you can have a little bit of everything, but that's not part of your food philosophy. That's a
Right.
little bit of
Oh, absolutely.
cheating.
In
But
moderation,
that's
100%.
right. Moderation.
But a 10-day trip like the Ram, amazing thing is more than one day. That was like we just came out of Hanukkah. And of course, having one sufganiyah is a nice treat. Having one every 8 days becomes a little bit more of an issue for
Right.
your health. So it's all a matter of balancing, healthier foods and taking advantage of the times when you could make them a little bit better for you so you could enjoy them more often. So my background I use to kind of allow people to relate to me. This is where I came from. I've never been healthy. I've never been focused on that. I've always loved and enjoyed cookies and candy like everyone, and I still do from time to time. But I wanted to be able to make people see that they could make eating healthy fit into their real lives. That's why my title is called Living a Real Life with Real Food, because
I love that.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, I love this girl.
Mm-hmm. Because we all have to live and it all has to be real.
Thank
So-
you.
Yes.
Like, I was making, I made in the summertime okay, you're going to kill me, a deep fried Oreo, right? And I bought one to my neighbor and she's like, no, I can't eat that. I'm like, I don't want to ever be in a world where I can't
Right.
have once in a while a deep fried Oreo
Right.
or a
So
donut.
I would tell people, how often does that happen to you? That
Right.
someone's knocking on your door with a fried Oreo. You know what? I would probably I always try to teach people save it for later, quote unquote, that you could save it for a time a little bit later to really think about it, focus and enjoy it, a little bit more mindful about it. Or if you did eat it on the spot, okay, so you work out a little bit more the next day.
Right, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I really feel like going to spin, like I know I make fun, I say I go to spin twice a month, but it's really once a week. But I or you could have a half a piece, you could
Right.
have a taste.
Absolutely.
I got a smorgasbord and I literally have one bite.
Because if you don't allow yourself, and that's proven in studies, that occasional treat, nothing will last in the long term. And what you care about is how you look in a year from now. I know everyone is so focused on the now. I want to lose a pound now. I want to lose now. But what is that going to help if in 6 months you're back to where you were? All that effort you were restricting yourself now, in 6 months from now.
I
why?
see that. I see it's so hard to lose the weight.
Right.
And it's so easy to put it back on.
I know, because what happened in those situations is that you didn't learn how to eat. So that's why I actually refer to my book more as a nutrition book with meal plans and recipes.
Right.
Because
It's not a cookbook.
It's not
Right.
a cookbook per se, because
But it has recipes.
the whole beginning, before you even get to actually eating the food or figuring out the meal plans, is about explaining to you what eating is all about. What happens once we eat something? What are the guidelines I should focus on in order to eat a healthy diet? And what it goes through, because it's catered towards more of a kosher diet, there's little anecdotes. Man cannot live on bread alone. So that was my opening to talking about carbohydrates.
Right,
There's little biblical anecdotes just to make it fun and relatable to our community. But it explains every food group, and it goes through all the fad diets and what we should take from all the messages and how we can make it real for us in our real life. Meaning we get crazy with everything we hear. And this is also coming to a New Year's season and everything like that. And we all want to just grab onto like the most recent fad, paleo diet, gluten-free, this and that.
Right. Are you hearing that over and over again?
Yeah.
Paleo, gluten-free.
Right. So you could drive yourself a
vegan.
little crazy. I don't like titles for anyone. Why do you have to pick one? Just basically what you're looking to do is take something from each of them that's scientifically proven to work, to help in the long run, and put them together and be able to just live a normal, real life. So I go through each of the food groups and I explain, this is what these people say, that's what those people say. How can we relate this to our lives? And how can we relate this to our kosher diet? Because that's also difficult. All my meal plans are, you're not going to find meat after dairy. They're not going to have a dairy snack after you had chicken for lunch.
Right.
So I found that struggle when I was reading books about health, and they were trying to give me ideas on recipes and meal plans, and they would have dairy and meat together. And
Right.
all right, I guess if I substitute this and take out that, I could make some sort of concoction here.
Right.
But it never tasted exactly how they envisioned it.
Right.
So I just rather have come up with my own book and say, this is how it is.
It's so intelligently written.
Thank you.
It's over 300 pages, and we'll talk about the pictures in a minute. 316 pages, and the first 200 are about eating,
Right.
rather than the recipes. And the last 100 pages are the other recipes and tons of stunning pictures. Where's that popcorn gone? I just had to hear
Oh,
it. All right,
yes.
look, here's a salmon burger. I'm just going to hold that up to the screen for those who are watching on our YouTube channel, on the Nachum Siegel Network channel on YouTube. Gorgeous picture. It's fantastic. Who did these pictures?
That was the funnest part. Mayor Pliskin.
Okay.
And
That name came up. He's
Yes.
related to Levana?
yes, and he did her pictures, and that I saw her pictures and liked her pictures, then contacted
Oh, that's
him.
so funny. I was looking for a photographer last week, and Levana said, call my brother-in-law. It wasn't for food. It was just for a friend.
Yeah, I think he says, the
It
son.
was just for a friend of mine. I was looking to do a
Oh
simcha.
yes, and Hannah Kaminsky was the food stylist,
Beautiful
and that
job.
was so fun. That was the funnest part about the whole.
Oh, you
look.
have chamin instead of cholent.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's more of my Moroccan roots. That was once I got married to. I married into the Moroccan family, and I learned about this whole chamin world, and it's fantastic. And they also have the Moroccan fish I have in there.
Oh, I like that.
Yes, and then I have like I said, classic matzo ball soup and a lot of vegetable dishes. I find that it's all the recipes are divided by food groups because that's how I fit them into a cohesive meal plan. So people could understand, well, how do I eat that and be healthy? I just randomly grab some bazargan's also in there.
Bazagan.
Yeah.
How do I pronounce it?
Bazagan.
Bazagan.
Yes.
Okay.
But then it's like, how do that's actually a whole grain. So that's going to be in the grains. And then you say, okay, that's my grain. What's my protein? What's my vegetables? And you make a meal plan out of it. So my vegetables and all my recipes, because this is catered towards someone's real life, they're very quick and easy. I'm not a complicated person. I don't have the time. It doesn't mean you can't be healthy. It doesn't mean you can't make these dishes. Very few of them take time to actually prepare and make. I don't like to add spices just for the sake of being
Making it
complicated.
Right.
Oh, you say the same thing?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Spices have excellent health properties. I
Right.
mean, the more the better. But just to be in a recipe and then make you overwhelmed by the amount of ingredients that are
Right.
on
Sometimes
the page.
when you turn to a page, look, I'm using the chamin again because that's going to be our What's for Dinner segment from Gomek Latin in a couple of minutes. But, I look at it and chamin always looked a little bit scary for me because, and it's just so easy. It's
Right.
I always thought it was very different than cholent, but it's really not so different
Same
from
concept.
cholent. Same concept. Low and slow.
Yes, and
for a
it's
long
funny
time.
because to actually write down that recipe, it wasn't so easy because my husband's grandma, they call Tati, I kept asking her, I want your recipe. Of course, she makes it the best. And
Of course.
She said, you have to watch me. You have to watch me. You have to watch me. Like, there's no recipe for it. So I also like people to take comfort in knowing, I know we always want the security of a recipe and the security of the measurements, but we should all experiment in the kitchen.
I call it finding your inner chef.
Yes.
Just, I say recipes are suggestions. Here, she says 1 teaspoon allspice. If you like more allspice, throw in 2 teaspoons.
Absolutely, and I refer to that a lot when I use lemon juice, for example. So really my Sephardic Syrian heritage is
Lemony?
Yes.
I love lemon.
all lemon.
I put too much lemon in everything.
There's actually
but I
a-
love it. I love it.
There's actually a yebre recipe in there.
Yebre?
Yeah.
Well, what's that?
So it's really pronounced yebre.
Yebre.
Um,
Yebre.
It's it's normally made with a meat inside, ground meat, and it's a grape leaf wrapped around it in a
grape
sauce.
leaf. Okay.
Yes, so it's a grape leaf. I gave a para version because I also don't want people, let's say, to feel like they always have to have red meat. We can make this into a para one where there was quinoa in it.
Oh, nice.
Yes, which quinoa is a high protein grain. It's an excellent choice.
Yeah, people love quinoa. I love quinoa.
Yes.
I don't love rice, but I love quinoa.
Right. And that, because it's a para version, even more so, it's usually lemon based, like very lemony. And cumin, we also use a lot.
How do you say
Cumin.
cumin? I say
But I know
cumin.
it's cumin.
Cumin. Well, I say oregano, and you Americans say oregano.
Oh,
So
oregano. Right. Well, so I just always write, it's to your taste, because I know a lot of people not being raised with cumin and lemon juice would kind of feel
wince.
a little bit.
I started putting cumin and curry. So I always ask and I did this last week when I had the CA team here. I said, what's your favorite spice? And I made everyone go around the table. We had like 4 or 5 people here, so I made everyone go around. So my favorite spice is cumin.
Oh, yeah.
I try to put it in everything, and it's new for me.
Right.
Like I've only been using the last few years, and the spice before that was curry. I love curry powder.
That's great. It's also incredibly anti-inflammatory.
Yeah, can we talk about that? What does
Yes.
that mean?
Anti-inflammatory?
Well, I know that
Excellent
reduces.
question.
I know it reduces swelling. I have
Right.
a headache.
Well,
you're taking it.
yeah, I'm happy you asked, because a lot of people throw that term around. They don't understand what it means.
Okay, so talk to
just
us.
living a normal life, let's say in the city life with pollution or with certain foods that are more processed. That's why my book really focuses on eating less processed, whole foods more. And I try to show people, look how fast it takes. It's not overwhelming.
Right.
So that's the whole idea of that. But let's say, processed foods, and there's like the chemicals in them, like MSG and things, and other just diseases, or you getting sick. It causes inflammation in the body. Inflammation is normal if, let's say, you get a cut or a bruise, and you're
like my paper cut.
yeah, and then you get all these little army guys, these white blood cells coming up and making you feel better, and then once it's healed, it goes back down. That's normal. Chronic inflammation is when those guys don't go away. Something's bothering you on the inside, and your white blood cells are just going crazy, and they don't want to go back down. They don't want to calm down. That's inflammation. Okay, some people for food allergies, let's say, they're for some reason reacting to peanuts, and then they're always on high alert. And whenever they're having peanuts, they're going crazy, right? So we want that to go back down. And our diet could help a lot with causing that to go back down. Now, spices have that property that they can make that inflammation in your body relax.
Like what kind of spices?
Basically anything that's not salt. They all have something.
Really?
They all have something in them.
I love salt.
Yes. Also, the allium family, like the garlic and the shallots and the onions, excellent. They're and
Alien, spell it. So for our listeners,
allium.
A-L-L-I-U-M.
It's a family.
Allium.
It's just an umbrella term to mean like
For the
garlic.
onion family. It's the onion
Exactly.
family. But I just not sure if all our listeners will know what that is.
Absolutely. And
The
people
allium
also-
makes you cry.
people also throw out the term anti-cancer. It's the same idea as
What's the word?
Anti-cancer.
No, they use a word. Anti-carcinogenic. It's
Oh.
carcinogenic
Oh, carcinogenic. Right. That means it's something that's toxic.
and can cause cancer,
Right.
right?
Right. So could inflammation. Inflammation's tied to diabetes, cancer, heart disease, ADHD, everything.
So use cumin and curry and
Exactly.
and
Because-
allspice.
And turmeric is one of the one that's always cited in the studies.
for turmeric?
Yes,
Really?
and that's actually pretty challenging for me to incorporate in the recipes as a taste. It makes a pretty color,
right.
but it's a little more
interesting.
challenging for me if you're not used to that flavor.
Can we just talk about spices for a minute? You should not keep your spices in a warm place
Right.
because it starts cooking out. Once they get warm, all the natural oils are being released, and they lose their freshness
Absolutely.
and their health benefits. So I don't want to say, buying you spices every 6 months, but really, if you're not using them, buy smaller jars or store them maybe in the basement storeroom in a cool, dark place.
Right.
But spices really a year tops.
Right.
Pesach you can reuse your spices because you're storing them away again, and I think that's okay.
Right.
But keep your spices fresh all the time. Like after a year, toss them and buy a new one. Even I'm bad at that. I should, it's
Be more
actually
on top of it,
Be
yeah.
more on top of it. just keep it, don't keep your spices and then put in a cupboard, and then the Shabbos urn goes underneath it and makes the whole drawer, the whole cabinet warm.
Right, you're totally right.
It's not good. So if I can share that with my listeners, I'd try to give out some tips. Oh my gosh, the hour is almost up. It's great. I know, it goes so fast.
I know.
Just try to do that. I just want to do our quick What's for Dinner segment.
Okay, sure.
It's brought to you by our friends at Gourmet Glad Emporium out in Cedarhurst, with a shout out by Beth Warren's new book. I'm just going to do one of her recipes because being an Erev Shabbos, I thought this would be a perfect recipe to do. It's 1 cup of dried chickpeas, 10 russet potatoes, 2 to 4 whole eggs. Whole eggs. Remember, it's Sephardic. 1 pound of your choice of meat. You can use kichel, flanken, any kind of red meat that you like. A teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of allspice, a teaspoon of cumin, and extra virgin olive oil. And if you like pepper, you can throw that in as well. And then you just put it in to soak overnight. Water, we put about, let me just see how much water it says to put in. Water to the top of the vegetable line.
Right.
And then just put it on low and cover it up and seal it up. I've got one of these new crock pots myself with that clamps down the lid, so I don't feel like the steam evaporates so much, and it's keeping everything really nice and hot and even temperature until the next day.
Right. And the only added thing to that would be the chickpeas have to soak. The dried chickpeas.
Oh, did I leave that out?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I have it in the explanation.
Okay. But you're going to have to pick up this amazing book.
Yes, it's fantastic, and then you could just experiment with that as you get more comfortable. Like I said, our Tati, she makes rice in it. She'll put it in a cooking bag and she'll stick it in there, and then she has her rice. She just takes it back out because how that's supposed to be served is separated.
I love that. Wait, so you can make what kind of, like one of those bodek bags?
Yeah.
Put a cup of rice in, just plain rice. Put it in the side.
Yep.
No
And then you
spices?
take the bag out. It gets all brown.
Oh my God, I'm going to do that.
I know,
I'm
it's
so going to
fantastic.
do that. That is such a brilliant idea.
Right.
I've been doing a lot of overnighting stuff. I started you could do a brisket with a bag of rice.
Yes. You can just
in the
stick that
crock pot.
in there. Uh-huh. As long as there's liquid and the flavor, it'll all absorb. It's amazing.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
So overall, if you had a 1-minute summary of the book in terms of the actual food philosophy, what are you saying? Don't eat this, don't eat that.
Well, I'm not a don't person.
Okay. I caught that about you.
I could find the place for everything. But what I would just encourage people to do is to eat less processed foods most often. I encourage them to eat more whole foods, fresh foods, cooked foods as often as possible. And I also teach you that you should really eat every 3 hours. We should combine foods like protein and fiber. Fiber could be fruit, whole grains, vegetables. It doesn't always have to be bread. And eat about every 3 hours so we keep our hunger at bay. We also have to drink adequate amounts of water, exercise, sleep 6 to 8 hours a day.
When did we have 8 hours, 6 hours straight sleep?
And just to overall realize that living a healthy real life with real food isn't only about the food. It's about how we're eating, when we're eating, what we're eating, why we're eating. All these questions need to be answered before you could feel like you're living a healthy life.
Okay, I love that. I love this food philosophy. I like to think I try to live by that kind of philosophy myself. Live a little bit. I eat my donuts and my fried fish and whatever. Try to get in some exercise. Really like cutting out the processed food. I feel like that's magic words these days. Processed white sugar, white flours.
They're also created to make us eat more of them. They have sugar, salt, and they are designed for once you pop, you can't stop. That's their
Once you
mantra.
pop, you can't stop.
Yes.
Oh, I like that.
Well, it's Pringles, and they.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I heard that's terrible.
I know. They really, they that's their theme line, but that's what they all are designed to make us do. So if we eat more whole foods and they're more natural flavors, we'll start to appreciate that. It's not that I'm ever looking for people not to love their food. It's that suddenly salad will taste good because you're used to eating more clean. And
clean eats.
Yes, and you'll feel more in control of your food. It's not controlling you.
I like that. You control the food, not the food control you. I know when I used to eat a slice of pizza for lunch on a Sunday, I'd be like 2 hours later, I'd be starving again because it fills you up and then brings you right down again.
Because there was no fiber. You were missing your vegetables. Like there's always a reason.
It's a quick and cheap and easy fix. And now instead of going out for pizza on a Sunday, I'll buy corn tortillas. So it's not white flour.
Right.
And we'll make paninis with a little bit of cheese, and we'll make a little bit of our own tomato sauce and make a panini out of that. And we found that much more filling than...
Absolutely, and it doesn't take that long.
No, it was great. It was really quick. You know, everyone had to wait their turn, but it was good. Custom
Exactly.
paninis for Sunday lunch.
I know, that's fun.
Another
That's a
what's
nice,
for dinner.
That's a
What's
nice,
for lunch segment.
Right. No, that's a nice family tradition to get used to. Instead of pizza Sundays, do panini Sundays.
Panini Sundays and make your own.
Yes.
Thank you very much for coming in today.
Absolutely.
I am so excited for my Shabbos reading because now
It totally is a Shabbos read because it has so many anecdotes of Dvar Torah.
I know it's fantastic. Amazon, where are we
Yes.
buying this? Amazon.
Yes, Amazon has it for sale. Also, you could just go to my website, bethwarrennutrition.com.
And if you want a private consultation,
Yes, so you could find all the information there. You could find the link to my book. You could find our Instagram. Twitter is at Beth_Warren. Twitter, BethWarrenRD. We're all over social media, but BethWarrenNutrition.com will have all your information.
thank you for coming in. Have a good Shabbos. We'll
thank
stick around
you.
and we'll talk for a minute
Thank
or two
you.
after the show. This is Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Siegel Network, also heard on Arutz Sheva English Radio. Our show is sponsored by Abels and Hyman. Stay listening. We've got music by Kedem right up until Lich Benching. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.